Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we're going to take a look at another of these incredible large vinyl PNSO figures, and it's one that I somehow have never reviewed. I totally didn't even realize that I had not looked at it previously with you guys, as I have reviewed every single other of these large vinyl prehistoric figures previously, except for this one, and this is the Lufengosaurus, and it is amazing looking. This is another of the initial ones that had come out a few years ago now, so the seams are probably going to be fairly well seen, which was a pretty big issue that a lot of people had with them back then. I personally didn't really mind them so much because, again, the body parts need to be connected somehow, so I think they definitely have improved on it immensely currently, but at this time, the seams were not that well hidden. However, that does not, in my opinion, take away from the figure at all, because overall it is an absolutely beautiful looking model. It's such an obscure species of dinosaur, so it was awesome for PNSO to release a figure of this, and not only just a figure, but a huge, large vinyl model, which is my favorite as far as the PNSO figures go, because they're just so big, but so beautiful looking. And this one was kind of a different type of large vinyl model for them, because at the time when they were releasing all of these, most of their figures appeared to be mostly just darker brown colors, and this one, as you can see, is a much brighter green, so it was a step in the flashier direction as far as these large vinyl models went. But if you would like to see for yourself and not just take my word for it, we'll get a closer look right now so you can see this up close. So if we start up at the head sculpt, you can see the head sculpt is very nice looking. The dinosaur itself has kind of a very serious look to him. He does look like he's kind of grumpy, and I absolutely love it. I think the head sculpt is really beautifully done. Even the mouth area looks fantastic. The eyes are painted really quite nicely. He has very large looking eyes. You can see that they are a yellowish color, and then there's an orange, and then the big black pupil. He has a very large black pupil, and overall I think that the eyes look very nice on the figure. I'm definitely a big fan of the entire head sculpt. The head itself is actually very small compared to the rest of the body, so it really makes this dinosaur look very strange in comparison to most, but I really quite like how strange looking this dinosaur is. As you start to run down the neck, you can really take note of the very fine scaling that is going on. Look how small those scales are on the neck. It's actually quite crazy just how nice looking, but how small those scales are. And as I turn it, you can really see some skin folding and wrinkling of the skin in the neck, really portraying the beautiful movement of the neck as it's in an upward position. Even right here, you can really kind of see the skin kind of twisting and really wrinkling as the dinosaur is lifting its head up in the air. Super, super cool attention to detail, which never seems to baffle me as far as PNSO goes, because it's such a common thing for them to have such incredible detail in their figures, but it's always something that you can just take a minute to step back, look at, and really appreciate just how good of a job they do. As you come down the neck and you get closer to the shoulder area, you can see some nice wrinkling start to show up in that beautiful wash that they've included to really bring out the detail. You can see really nicely everywhere, and it really helps to make all the beautiful scales pop out at you and just jump out at you and make them look very nice and very striking. You can see there are all sorts of variations of color tone and skin tone throughout the body. It's primarily a green on the upper part, but it's a very dark green at the top, and then it gets to a lighter green, and then the further down you get to like a creamy stomach type of a color, and then on the underside it's still that same creamy coloration. Very beautiful as far as the skin color goes. It's not like striped or overly flashy. It's very, very realistic looking. As you come down into the shoulder blade, you can really see as I turn it the very nice shoulder blade protruding from the skin. And then we get to right here where we have one of the seams that I was speaking of, but again, I don't really mind them so much. As we move down the leg, it's a very thin leg, very, very skinny looking. You can again take note of all the different skin color and skin tones all throughout the leg. That really looks very realistic to me. Beautifully sculpted feet. You can see that they start out as far as the coloration of the nails with a blackish color and then turn to a brown to help give the nails a few different variations of color, making them look quite nice. And then you come up into the stomach region, you can see some nice wrinkling of the skin going on and some more of that very nice skin texture. You can also take note of the rib cage there as I'm turning it. Really beautifully portrayed in the sculpt again. Here's another one of those seams that kind of runs through the midsection of the dinosaur. But again, they've improved so much on their seams since this figure that this is just showing you how much they have improved. Again, you can really take note of the beautiful scale work. Look how many different size scales they have, and the very nice small fine scaling looks quite incredible. You can really see the very nice hip bone kind of elaborated from the skin, protruding from the skin there. Beautiful looking. Some nice skin folds and skin wrinkling right here in this area of the thigh. And the very nice musculature is really beautifully portrayed in the sculpt as well. That looks very nice. I love the look of the skin here as it's kind of bunching up with this leg pushing in. And you can, as you see it, you almost can get an idea of the bone structure of the leg underneath the skin. It really feels like there is bones under the skin. Here's another seam, but this one's a little bit better, I think, as far as the way it's been hidden. I don't really notice that one too much. When I take a little step back, that's really almost hard to see. As we run down the length of the leg, again, very nice bone structure that you can really get a good idea of in the leg. Lots of very nice skin folding going on right here. And then you get down to the foot. Once again, very, very nice looking painted nails and everything with the variations of brown and black together. You can really see the nice skin folding and wrinkling going on up here in the upper part of the thigh and tail area where they connect, as this leg is really stretched very far forward, and you can really see that in the sculpt and the way the skin is being pulled. Beautiful attention to detail as always on the part of PNSO. And then you start to run out the length of the tail. Very nice looking scaling. Again, you can really take note of that very beautiful wash as you go the entire length of the tail, really bringing out all that incredible detail. The tail is very, very long and ends in a very nice point. And when I say it's long, you can see it's a very long tail. So you'll have to be careful if you buy this figure when turning it around, because who knows what you'll knock off your tables and stands with a tail that long. As we look at this side, again, you can see that very nice, large, adorable looking eye and the somewhat grumpy look on his face. And then as we come down the neck, again, all those very fine scales look really nice. You can start to again see the way the skin is reacting in the neck to the neck being pulled up is just absolutely insane, in my opinion, for how nice this sculpt is. Look at that. So many different skin folds and wrinkling, and just the way the skin is being pulled is so insanely well portrayed in this sculpt. You can even see some nice hanging skin in the throat. Absolutely insane how nicely sculpted that is. And then as you move back here again, you can really see how nicely portrayed the shoulder blade is in the sculpt. You can see the seam here again. It's that same seam that we saw on the other side. This little area is like an area that's got a problem, I think, with the seam that's really visible. But once again, I've stated numerous times, they've improved so much since this time with that. You can really again get the idea of the bone structure of the front leg here as you come down. Very beautiful. You can see all sorts of different skin coloration and skin tones again. Very nicely sculpted foot with those beautifully sculpted nails. Once again, if my camera would focus on it. There we go. Very, very nice looking. Even the underside of the feet sports some incredible sculpt work. And then you come up into the stomach. You can once again take note of the nice rib cage there. Really beautiful looking. Very nicely elaborated. The wash that they put on here, that very dark wash, really helps to bring out that detail and just make it pop to you. Here's that same seam that we spoke of on the other side that combines the body and connects the body right here in the midsection. And then you get to the hip area. Very nice hip bone. Very beautiful looking musculature here in the thigh. And then here is again another seam that connected the leg on this side. It's a little bit more visible than it was on the other side. I didn't really see it so much on the other side, but this side is definitely a good bit more visible. But I still don't think that the seams really take away from the figure. And once you take a step away, you don't really notice it so much, and it is still an absolutely beautiful, striking model. You can really see the tendons and everything just kind of stretching with the way the leg is being pulled, and the beautiful bone structure just looks absolutely amazing to me. Nicely sculpted feet on this side with the nails painted in that same way of the black and the browns mixed. And then you come up into the tail here. Very, very nice fine scaling that runs the entire length of the tail with that mixture of that brown creamy type of a color and the green to that very long pointed tail at the end. As far as a length goes on our Lufengosaurus, and I'm not lying to you when I tell you it's very long, from the tail to the head you're looking at about 21 inches or about 53 centimeters. And for a height, the highest point would be the head here. You're looking at just under 8 inches or 20 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is our buddy the green Paparex, and our Lufengosaurus is kind of giving him a hug there because he's just a very lovable yet very grumpy looking dinosaur. But you can really see just how insanely large and long this Lufengosaurus is compared to the Paparex. This dinosaur model is just absolutely huge, as all of these large vinyl models are from PNSO, and that right there should give you an idea considering just how badly dwarfed the Paparex is compared to the Lufengosaurus. You can see the dinosaur is balanced on 3 legs, as it is appearing to take a step forward and reaching up, I assume probably to grab some vegetation from a tree or something along those lines. It's kind of the idea that I'm getting from the sculpt. And it balances really well for being only on 3 legs, and really beautifully. It's actually quite stable, so that is another huge plus for this figure. So overall, this is an absolutely exquisite looking, very obscure species that has been beautifully brought to life from PNSO here in this large vinyl version. I think the overall detailing and sculpt of this is just breathtaking. There is so much detail and sculpt included, as always with PNSO, that you just can't help but to sit in awe when you stare at their figures, and it is just mind-blowing to me every single time I look at one of these figures. This is definitely one of my favorite large vinyl figures just because of how beautiful it is. As far as these older ones go, it's definitely one of my favorites for sure because of the bright green that they applied, but it's all applied so beautifully and so naturally. It honestly, genuinely looks like this would be the color of this dinosaur. There's a few different greens and everything that they've just included in such a beautiful way. The paint is applied so naturally and so very realistically. It all generally looks like the body color of the animal. It does not look like paint applied, so they've done an incredible job in the way that they've painted it. I love the wash that they've included with that dark wash that really brings out all the detail and just makes all the detail pop and jump out at you, making the model overall look super realistic to me. I think that PNSO has just done an absolutely fantastic job everywhere on this figure. Again, the seams were a little iffy at the time. A lot of people had complained about the seams back then, but PNSO has since improved leaps and bounds as far as the seams of their figures go, so that's something that we won't have to worry about moving forward. But I, myself, did not mind the seams so much on this figure. I think that they are definitely visible, especially in some areas more than others, but it doesn't really take away from the figure at all, in my opinion, because overall it is just so striking and beautiful that you just can't help but absolutely love this. So if you do want to get one of these, I will link you to the Amazon PNSO store where you can pick one up for yourself. Trust me when I tell you, you would not regret buying this ever. It is really, really that beautiful. Such an amazing looking, very obscure species to be brought to life here from PNSO. One of the many reasons that I absolutely love them. So if you do want to buy it, like I said, check the description. There will be a link there for you to head on over there. Purchase this for yourself. So go ahead and do that, but before you do that, don't forget to please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the little bell to be notified of any future videos. And then go ahead, go buy yourself this awesome Lufengosaurus from PNSO, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.